Medicine did not begin in spotless laboratories or under glowing hospital lights. It began in fear. Fear of pain, fear of death, fear of watching loved ones fade with no explanation and no cure. Long before microscopes or vaccines, humans searched for meaning in illness, blaming spirits, curses, or angry gods. People bled patients believing sickness could escape through wounds. They burned herbs, whispered prayers, and hoped survival was more than luck. This is where our story starts, because the history of medicine is not just a timeline of discoveries. It is a long, brutal fight against the invisible. And for most of human history, we were losing. For thousands of years, disease ruled civilizations. A small cut could kill. Childbirth was a gamble. A fever could wipe out entire villages. Empires rose and fell, not just from war, but from microbes no one could see or understand. Then, something quietly changed. Humans began to notice patterns. They noticed that some treatments worked more often than others. They noticed that people who survived certain diseases rarely got them again. These observations were small, fragile sparks of logic in a world dominated by superstition, but they mattered. They were the first steps toward medicine as we know it. One of the earliest turning points came when healers stopped asking, "Which god is angry?" and started asking, "What caused this?" Ancient physicians like Hippocrates proposed a radical idea. Disease had natural causes. This single shift cracked open the door to scientific medicine. It didn't cure anyone overnight, but it changed how humans thought. And once thinking changes, progress becomes inevitable. Slowly, painfully, medicine began to crawl forward. Centuries later, the world was still deadly. Plagues swept through cities like firestorms. The Black Death erased nearly half of Europe's population. Entire generations vanished in months. No army could stop it. No king could command it away. But even in that darkness, medicine learned. Quarantines were born not from theory, but desperation. Isolation worked, even if no one understood why. Every epidemic taught the same harsh lesson. Understanding disease was not optional. It was survival. Then came one of the most important realizations in human history. Tiny organisms cause massive suffering. Germ theory shattered everything. Suddenly, disease was not fate. It was not punishment. It was biology. And biology could be studied, predicted, and eventually controlled. This realization transformed medicine from guesswork into strategy. Surgery became safer. Hygiene became essential. Hospitals stopped being places people went to die and started becoming places of healing. But medicine's greatest leap did not come from scalpels or stethoscopes. It came from prevention, from the bold idea that the best way to fight disease was to stop it before it ever took hold. This is where vaccines enter the story, and where medicine truly changes the course of humanity. The concept was terrifying at first. Expose a healthy person to a weakened form of a deadly disease to protect them later? It sounded insane. Yet the logic was undeniable. People who survived smallpox did not get it again. This observation led to one of the most daring medical experiments ever attempted. When the first vaccine worked, it didn't just save lives, it rewired the future. For the first time, humanity was not reacting to disease. It was outmaneuvering it. Smallpox, once one of the deadliest killers in history, was hunted down and eradicated. Not controlled, not reduced, erased. That moment proved something extraordinary. Humans could completely eliminate a disease from the planet. It was a declaration of power over biology itself. From there, medicine accelerated. Antibiotics turned fatal infections into minor inconveniences. Vaccines protected children before they could even speak. Life expectancy skyrocketed. Death, which had always hovered close, began to retreat. Not because humans became immortal, but because medicine bought time. Time to grow, time to learn, time to build civilizations without constant biological collapse. But progress never comes without resistance. Fear returned, this time not of disease, but of the tools designed to stop it. Every major medical breakthrough faced backlash. Vaccines were accused of being unnatural. Doctors were accused of playing God. The irony was cruel. The same fear that once fueled superstition now fueled distrust of science. Yet history showed a clear pattern. Wherever medicine advanced, death retreated. Wherever it was rejected, disease surged back. Then the modern world arrived, and with it, a new kind of threat. Globalization connected humanity like never before. Planes crossed continents in hours. Cities became denser. Viruses evolved faster. The same interconnected world that fueled progress also created perfect conditions for pandemics. And eventually, the inevitable happened. A microscopic organism brought the entire planet to a halt. In that moment, medicine was no longer an abstract concept. It was personal. Hospitals overflowed. Doctors faced impossible decisions. The world watched in real time as science raced against death. And once again, vaccines became the focal point of humanity's hope and fear. Could medicine move fast enough? Could science adapt in time? What followed was one of the most astonishing achievements in medical history. Vaccines were developed at unprecedented speed. Technologies that had been quietly evolving for decades suddenly stepped into the spotlight. mRNA, once theoretical to most of the public, became a household term. This was not luck. It was the result of centuries of accumulated medical knowledge, compressed into a moment of global urgency. That moment revealed a truth many had forgotten. Medicine is not static. It evolves, it learns, it compounds. Every failed experiment, every imperfect treatment, every skeptical question builds the foundation for the next breakthrough. Vaccines were not rushed miracles. They were the visible peak of an iceberg, built by generations of scientists, doctors, and patients. And yet, this is still not the climax of the story. Because medicine is no longer just about fighting disease. It is about rewriting what it means to be human. Genetic therapies now aim to correct illnesses at their source. Personalized medicine tailors treatments to your DNA. Artificial intelligence analyzes patterns no human mind could process. Vaccines are being designed not just to prevent disease, but to train the immune system to hunt cancer itself. For the first time in history, medicine is shifting from reactive to predictive. Instead of waiting for illness to strike, we are learning to see it coming. Instead of treating symptoms, we are targeting causes. The line between treatment and enhancement is beginning to blur, and that raises questions humanity has never had to answer before. How far should medicine go? When does healing become modification? Who decides? These questions are not signs of failure. They are signs of success. Only a species that has mastered survival gets to debate ethics at this level. Vaccines and medicine did more than save lives. They gave humanity the luxury of choice, reflection, and long-term thinking. And the story is far from over. New viruses will emerge. Old diseases will adapt. Biology will always push back. But for the first time, humanity is not facing the future unarmed. Medicine is our shield. Vaccines are our early warning system. Knowledge is our greatest weapon. The real question is no longer whether medicine will continue to advance. It will. The real question is whether humanity will trust, guide, and use that power wisely. Because every vaccine, every cure, every breakthrough carries a deeper truth. Survival is not guaranteed by nature. It is earned through understanding. If you've made it this far, you're witnessing one of the greatest stories ever told. Not of machines or empires, but of humans refusing to accept suffering as destiny. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think medicine and vaccines represent humanity at its best? Or do you believe we're stepping into dangerous territory? Share your thoughts in the comments If you want more deep dives into the inventions that shaped our world, make sure to subscribe. And if this video expanded your perspective even a little, leave a like. The future of medicine is still being written, and every one of us is part of the story.